And welcome back to the Silver and Black Radio Podcast. This is episode 8, season 1. I'm your host, Raider Will, along with my co-host,
Raider Matt. How's everybody doing tonight?
In sequence 3 today, we go over the good, the bad, and the ugly for Game 4 versus the Chargers. We also give out game balls and keys to our victory in Game 5 versus the Packers, and talk about our defensive struggles and key penalties that affected the game, along with the Raider Hookup. In sequence 2, we go over number 19 in our Raiders countdown. We go over Raiders trivia. We talk Aiden O'Connell's performance versus the Chargers. And now, for sequence 1, Raiders news and notes. Today for Raiders news and notes, what we have is some transactions because obviously we're not in practice this week. You know, we are have Monday game, so they had Wednesday off. The only transactions that we have is that we signed tight end Noah Tagai to the practice squad, and then cornerback Tyler Hall and Malik Reed were reverted back to the practice squad. All right, brother. So, you know, in big time news for this week is the Raiders suffer another tough loss this weekend versus the Chargers at SoFi. I mean, it looked like we had a home game, but we end up losing 24-17. And this puts us on a 3-game losing streak. Puts us in the cellar in the AFC West, man. So I'll be like, we're obviously struggling. We need obviously to put in some work and to catch up. So what are your thoughts on the game, my friend?
Not only are we in the cellar in the AFC West, but that puts us in the cellar in the whole NFL. But yeah, man, I think we played decent second half. First half was a little rough for the rookie, but I think he held his poise in the second half, and I think he came through in some clutch moments, and then there was, the not so clutch moment, which is everybody knows is going to happen. He'll learn from it.
Yeah,
he'll fix it. But I mean, for the most part, I think he was pretty comfortable in the pocket. But man, we got to get some other players on defense, man. Like that defensive line, man. That first half of the game was not looking good at all. I mean, we came back in second half. Merrick did really good, I thought. He played really well. I think he had a really high grade this week when it came to corners or safeties. I'm sorry.
Okay.
When it came to safeties and coverage, I think he was one of the top in the league.
Yeah.
Interception, 2 pass breakups or something like that. No receptions his way. So I mean, he played really well. That was one bright spot. We had John Jenkins, that guy, defensive tackle. He played really well too on the defense. But I mean, if we can keep it like we did in the second half and keep playing the way we did the rest of the season, I think our defense has got a little potential. Offense are sputtering here and there, man, and it's almost like we're, what do you call, like one-dimensional, one player. They got to draw something up with these other players, man, and it's not just Devontae. It can't just be Devontae. We got 2 guys on Devontae at all time, man. He's going up and making these spectacular catches that he shouldn't have to make because he's being double teamed, and that's the only guy we're throwing to.
Yeah.
And we've got plenty of guys upfield, that are wide open that we got to get them looking at these other guys, man, somehow. And then Josh Jacobs, I mean, I think he played his heart out this game. I think he finally is starting to get his legs back under him. And
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to go over, man. I mean, I just want to keep going.
Yes,
those are some of my moments that I'm just like, like if we can just keep it together, I think we got a good team. Coaching is really bad. I'm still sticking to that coaching. I don't like the coach.
No, I got you, man. So I can't agree with you more, man. I mean, like, here's my notes, man. But like in looking at the game, we have to look at first is honestly we have a non-existent offense. I mean, like our offense struggled. I mean, we're obviously scoring points in the first and in the last quarter of the game. If you're looking at what the Raiders do this year, we're scoring all our points in the first and the fourth quarter, you know? So it's kind of a crazy thing. We really struggled. I saw some game. I mean, like we moved the ball around. We just couldn't put it in. Then we also struggled to put like plays together. I mean, you can tell that the offense is sputtering. We have an inability to block anybody on the offensive line. I mean, when you give up 6 sacks to one guy, 7 sacks in the whole game, and you really have to look at your offensive line and say, hey, what's going on here? There's obviously a dysfunction up front. I don't know. He said, if you listen to his comments, which is Coach McDaniel's comments, you know, he said, oh, we tried to chip them. We tried to double team them. We tried to do this. Man, if
these tape says otherwise.
Well, yeah, you know,
I don't know.
look at some of the film.
I don't think he tried anything. I think he was just sticking to the game plan, you know, like.
No, I got you. And I mean, like, looking at it, all right, look, when you saw it, like you said, looking at the game plan, man, I mean, like, you see Mac one-on-one with the Luminor getting just whooped. I'd be like, he absolutely got manhandled.
Pushed over like yeah, dude. Oh, there's a couple times he just manhandled our whole line, bro, by himself. They could have put him on the inside. He probably could have got some sacks, you know, like he just powerhoused our whole line, man. Like, and we didn't do anything to stop it.
Man, honestly, just off this one performance, he probably made his salary plus, you know, some benefits for the game. I mean, like for the season.
Right. Yeah, he just made all his bonuses in one game.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, when we look at it, like I said, our offensive line couldn't stop anyone. Our offense is non-existent. We have an inability to score outside of the first and the fourth quarter. I mean, we have 3 turnovers. We give up 7 sacks. We give up 6 sacks to Mac. Like you said, you know, we did have some bright spots. Like JJ starting to look better. I mean, like we're giving him the ball. He's getting more active. But I mean, the yards per carry are still not up. But I like that we're getting him involved in the game. But then again, hey, where the heck is Renfro? Where's the tight end that we traded up to get? Where are these guys that they're obviously missing in the game plan? They're still MIA.
Yeah, Hooper, everybody, man. The whole offense on the other side of the ball, besides Devontae and maybe Myers here and there, are the only ones getting the ball.
Exactly.
It's like just predictable. And then we line up in I formation with the fullback. You know, what are we doing?
That's exactly. We're going to run the ball.
We're going to run the ball.
So, and that's another thing, like you said. Hey, right now for me, I'm looking at it, and it doesn't matter who's playing quarterback. It's still going to be the DA and Jacoby show. It's going to be the DA and JJ show. You know, kind of 1-2 punch. You know, we got to use every single weapon. What's going on with the ball distribution? And that's where I'm kind of questioning what is going on, because we keep feeding the same guys, and the same thing keeps happening over and over and over again. So this is either in the game plan or somebody's being told where to throw the ball. And also, I'm going to be quite honest, man. I'm just going to keep it 100% right now. Josh McDaniels, man, if you can listen to this podcast, you need to step your game up, bro. Your game plan needs to be better. I mean, you can't go in there with the same game plan when you have a rookie QB that when you have a guy that's experienced. You got to adapt your game plan to his style. If you felt like Aiden O'Connell was going to hold on to the ball in the pocket too long, you need to get the short game going. You need to get the run game going. You need to get play action going. You need to get the ball out of his hands quickly, and then you need to adapt. So honestly, those were the things that I saw for the game that really like got to me. And looking at that last one right there, that would have relieved a lot of the stuff that happened in the game. Like I said,
if we could have just ran the ball, like, you know what I mean? Like, what are we, Pete Carroll and the Seahawks? I mean, come on, man. We got our run game going. We're pounding the ball. 7 plays, man. You do not run the ball one time in 7 plays, man. And then you get to the goal line and you throw it.
So here's the biggest thing. I feel like this, all right? Last week, we go into a game, and what happens? We get to the goal line. he goes, he's not aggressive. He kicks it. Okay. So this week he goes, okay, I'm going to be aggressive. But when you're on first down, all right, it's first down.
Yeah, you're on first down. You don't throw the ball.
Run the ball. You got Josh Jacobs in the back.
Run the ball.
Just run the ball. You know, we have
my son's 9 years old, plays Madden, and would run that ball. My son would run that ball. Guarantee you.
No, I get it. And that's where we have to look at the game plan and say, hey, man, you really have to look at what you're doing. Josh McDaniels really have to, like, say, hey, man, at the end of the day, when you fuck up, you fuck up. But he's not owning it.
And own up. Don't throw your players under the bus because you fucked up.
And that's where I'm 100% with you. As a coach, man, when you make a play call, you got to have the cojones to sit there and say, hey, that was me. I messed up. I didn't set him up for success. And he's sitting up there on stage going, oh, yeah, you know, it's Aiden O'Connell's fault for not protecting the football. Well,
he's got to protect the ball more. He's got to be more protected, which, I mean, he does, you know. But, man, when you got a guy like we just brought up at Mac who is dominating our whole offensive line, and you are doing absolutely nothing to stop this guy and prevent him from doing that, you can't blame your rookie. You can't blame the rookie for that, man.
No, man.
Now, I can understand if he had all day in the pocket and was just sitting back there and had the whole line surrounding him, protecting him, and he drops the ball, or he's running and he fumbles it. I can see some stuff like that, you know, where it places the blame, but it's not on him. That's on the coach, man. You should have had him, you know.
No, absolutely.
We need more play action going on, man. We can't just drop back and wait for our receivers to get open, man. We need to get our run game going, throw a couple play actions in there, a couple bootlegs. We got to get something going, man. We got to do something.
No, I agree with you there. And I mean, like, just in watching the game, Aiden O'Connell looks like a sitting duck in the pocket. I mean,
that's all he does. So did Garoppolo. Garoppolo looks like that too, unless he's got that one time to run, you know. And that's only been in Denver. So, I mean, you know, it's not like he's done that every game. 90% of the time he's dropping back and he's doing the same thing O'Connell's doing. He's just sitting in that pocket and then it collapses around him. You know, and it's like that's on coaching, man. Like, we got to figure this out, man. And it starts at the top. But don't start with the players. It starts at the top.
No, absolutely. And I think we'll figure it out. I mean, it's either like this. Right now, everybody keeps saying that, you know, Patrick Graham will probably be on the hot seat. But honestly, after this game, I don't know. He made all the right adjustments. Defense held him scoreless in the second half of the game. And our offense is the one sputtering. I think we'll have to.
Well, and not only that, but it sounded like the players, you know, they listened to him. And it sounds like, you know, the defense is, how do you say it? They can conform with this guy, you know, like they can gel with this coach, you know. We've seen a couple players already complain about Josh McDaniels, and a couple players say, yeah, I'd play for Patrick Graham. I'd do this with Patrick Graham. You know, Patrick Graham might have a hard defense or whatever, but you also got to look who the head coach is, man. It's his way or no way. The only time the guy's ever won a game is when he was caught cheating, you know. That's it. You know, so, I mean, it's hard to blame the defensive coordinator when your head coach is the one calling every shot from the top down.
No, absolutely. And I mean, like, at the end of the day, you have to look at certain things like that. Now, I don't know whether it's player execution. I don't know what's going on, whether it's too complicated, whether it's too simple, whether there's just no cohesion in there. This is just me looking at from the outside in. I think there's just a disconnect between the head coach and his players. Okay. But I can't prove it.
Yep. I agree.
And until, you know, the players come out and he loses that locker room, then that's when I could see, like, hey, you know what? Then we got to let him go. But all right, guys. So that's all we got for segment 1 today. We're going to move on to segment 2. And welcome back to segment 2. And today in segment 2, we're going to go over number 19 in our Raiders countdown. And number 19 in our Raiders countdown is Phil Villapiano. Is one of the most recognizable Raiders linebackers, and for a very good reason. In his 9 seasons with the Silver and Black, Villapiano earned his way to 4 Pro Bowls and was a part of a Raiders Super Bowl team. Selected by the Raiders in the second round of the 1971 NFL Draft, Villapiano played in 118 games with 117 starts. He recorded 11 interceptions for 160 yards and 1 touchdown. And he recorded 17 fumbles. He was a key member of several playoff teams, including the Raiders championship team. He made the game-sealing interception in the Sea of Hands game against Miami in 1974. And that's why Phil Villapiano is number 19 on the Raiders countdown. And now for Raiders trivia. All right, guys, and today for Raiders trivia, what we're going to do is we're going to have you guys message our page on Facebook. We will send you guys out a Raiders flag as a gift. So message us also on Facebook at the Black Hole of Western Colorado. And the first person to answer this question will get a Raiders flag. How many seasons did Jerry Rice play for the Raiders? Again, how many seasons did Jerry Rice play for the Raiders? Guys, go ahead and message us on our Facebook page. That is the Western Slope Black Hole. The Black Hole of the Western Slope of Colorado on Facebook. First person to answer that will get a message or we'll get a flag. All right, guys. So now we're going to go and talk about Aiden O'Connell's performance this past week, Matt. I mean, the kid goes out there, throws the ball 39 times, has 21 completions, has an interception, has 2 fumbles. I mean, stats are all over the place. But if you really looked at the game, the kid was getting his sea legs. He was really learning how to play the game. He was going through some things. I mean, he definitely improved as the game progressed. There are some things that I didn't like. There are some things I like. Tell me what you like. Tell me what you don't like, man.
I like that he's got heart, man. Like, that's if from a kid that came from Purdue, you know, a very big school, didn't have a lot of look at him, you know. Seems like those players kind of play a lot harder than the ones that come out of these big colleges and go number 1 and 2 overall. It's good to have a quarterback like that on your backup. I think he definitely showed poise in the pocket. He did have 3 fumbles. You know, one they got back, but he did lose 2 of them. He's got a good arm on him. He got a little work he's got to do, but you know, that's a rookie, man. You know, he's not going to be Tom Brady off the bat. You know, he's going to have to work at it, but for the most part, I think he did pretty good. You know, but like I said, there's some things he's got to work on. He's got to learn how to look at other players. That's one thing that, you know, something's going on with this coaching staff where it's just one player looks, you know, and it's really predictable. So if he can clean that up a little bit, you know, and distribute the ball out to everybody. And I like the fact that towards the second half, you know, he started feeling a little more comfortable in the pocket. You know, he was moving the ball a lot more. You know, he wasn't feeling the pressure. The O-line started stepping up a little bit better. A run game got going and stuff like that. That was helping him out a lot too, you know, moving the ball, like Jacobs coming in and helping out and getting his legs back under him. But as far as the overall game, he had a 61.5% completion rating for 238 yards, 0 touchdowns and an interception. So a couple things got to clean up, and I think he'll be all right, But would I give him another shot next week? If Garoppolo's healthy to play, I would say probably not. Let him sit back and get a little more, practice in him and a little more of the plays, and let him go through a couple more throwing routines with a couple players and a couple more plays where he can kind of figure this out.
Oh, absolutely, man. I think Aiden O'Connell had a decent game. All right, man. Like you said, he's a rookie. He's learning how to play the game. And yeah, he had a lot of mistakes. If you look at it, man, I don't know very many rookies that come out there that are considered number twos at the beginning of the season that don't struggle. So if we look at it and we say, hey, just look at the game as in black and white and look at the stats, then it doesn't look too good. But if you watch the game, if you watch the game and you look at the situation that he was under, offensive line was horrid. I mean, my grandma could probably get some pass rush in there. It was just, hey, the floodgates opened with Mac. You have the guy in your lap every single play. And I'm going to be quite honest. I don't think Jimmy Garoppolo makes it through that game getting hit that much. I mean, our offensive line was struggling. They were sitting there getting blown up. They were getting whooped the whole game.
I don't think Brian Hoyer would have held up either, and I think Jimmy did play really good. Or not Jimmy, but I think O'Connell played really well in the game. Like you said, and like I've been saying all year, is you throw him in now and it's like feed him to the wolves, But I mean, he kind of proved me wrong a little bit. He held his poise. And at first I was like, I told you guys. Oh, there's another fumble. But, that second half came around and it seemed like, he kind of got those jitters out of him and the butterflies, and he started putting it together a little bit, but he did still have the costly play at the end. He's got to learn, you can't just drop back and throw the ball, man. You got to read the play,
Yeah.
It's not like what they do in practice. You're playing another team that's, they're running the same play. We've ran that play before on the sideline or this year, and they've seen it, they're running it.
No, absolutely. And I mean, like, if we look at that, it's like you said, but it was difficult, man. When you look at the play calling, that's tough. All right. And they already knew. It's almost like, hey, it's very predictable. The defense already knows. So they're jumping routes. They're taking away guys. And then you got Khalil Mack absolutely trashing your line.
Yeah. And that's the only dude that was on defense. Like, I don't know if it was Mack out and Bosa. I think it would have been the same thing. Honestly, I think Bosa would have worked our line too.
Well, if it would have been Mack and Bosa, I mean, we probably would have seen a 15-sack game.
Yeah, I was gonna say 11. Tie the Giants,
Yeah. So honestly, again, I think Aiden O'Connell did a great job. I think his legs got better and his game got better as the game progressed. I really can't wait to see what he can do. I see a lot of development in him. I think that he can be something special. Now, again, I agree with you too, that we have to say, hey, if we're not going to make the change right now, then we got to send them back, put them deeper in the rotation, sit him on the bench, make him the number 2, let him get those backup reps and let him get that experience. I think that's something that's very important for Aiden O'Connell to go through.
Yeah, if the coaching staff has anything in their heads, that they can do right, is don't put Hoyer in.
Yeah.
Everybody knows Hoyer. You can't drop this kid from starting a game and then the next time you have Jimmy in, and then when you need another backup, you go to Hoyer. We know Hoyer, man. The dude's lost 12 games straight the last 12 times that he's played. That's the reason why he hasn't been on a team for 4 or 5 years. You exactly know what you're getting with him. So keep him in the rotations. You keep this kid learning. I'm not saying start him next week, but he's going to start again this year.
No, absolutely.
Jimmy's not going to stay healthy all year. You won't stay healthy all year. There's no way. It's only game 4, and he's already nope. It's already game 4 into the season, or going into week 5, and he's already been out a week. So, and I don't even know if is he still in concussion protocol, or did he clear?
He hasn't cleared it yet. I mean, there's no word on him clearing. So again, it's going to be like, hey. And
he's probably going to end up with like a concussion in his foot or something like that when it's all said and done.
Hey, there might be. You never know. You never know, man. But again, hey, for me, man, you know what? Aiden O'Connell, you get 2 thumbs up for your effort, man. I got nothing but love for you, kid. I think that you're going to do great things in the league for us. Sir. And hey, that's what we got for that part of the show. Now we're going to move on to Matt Swammies Picks for this week. Last week, Matt Swami went as blazing 10-6, and he is 42-22 for the season, shooting right around 66%. Matty B is just tearing up the league. All right, baby, let me see what you got. So, Chicago Bears at Washington Commanders playing Thursday night, October the 5th. What do you got?
You say the Chicago Bears and the Commanders?
Yes, sir.
For some reason, I feel like the Bears might pull this one out, but it's going to be a close game, I have a feeling. Give me the Commanders on this one.
All right, Commanders. You got Jacksonville Jaguars, Buffalo Bills.
Give me the Buffalo Bills on this one.
You got Carolina Panthers at the Detroit Lions.
That's going to be a cat fight. Give me the Lions.
We got Baltimore Ravens at Pittsburgh Steelers.
That's another good game. Let's see. Ravens at Steelers, man. I could go either way. Give me Baltimore on that game. That's at Pittsburgh?
Yes, sir.
Give me Baltimore on that.
Houston at Atlanta.
Give me the Dirty Birds.
New Orleans at New England.
New England. Give me New England on that game.
Tennessee Titans at Indianapolis Colts.
Give me Tennessee on that game.
New York Giants at Miami.
Give me Miami all day on that game.
The Bengals at the Cardinals.
Give me the Cards.
Eagles, Rams.
Give me the Eagles.
Chiefs, Vikings.
Man, I'd love to see the Vikings get their first win against the Chiefs. Give me Kansas City.
Jets, Broncos.
Give me the Jets.
Dallas Cowboys, San Francisco 49ers.
Ooh, these are the battle of the unbeaten.
Yes, sir.
It's going to be a really good game. Oh, man, it's going to be a good one. You go with the one that I don't go with, or what?
I like either way, one of us is going to win, right?
Right. All right. Give me San Francisco on that game.
Ooh. All right. Give me Green Bay Raiders.
Ooh, let's go with the Raiders.
Yes, sir.
All day, baby. All day, baby.
All right, brother. And then we got Cleveland on a bye week. We got the Chargers on a bye week, Seattle on a bye week, and Tampa Bay on a bye week. So, all right, guys, this is all we got for Matt Swammies Picks for this week's episode. And now on to sequence 3. All right, guys, and we're back for segment 3, and we will be going over the good, the bad, and the ugly of this Chargers game. All right, man. Brother, what do you got for me for the good for you?
Pretty good. Pretty good, man. It looks like we're kind of getting our running game back together. I like seeing Jacobs run the ball. You know, he's probably one of the best runners out there if he gets his feet up underneath him, you know.
Yes, sir.
Another good sign, man, I always have to give it, would probably be, you know, Trevor Merrick. Trevor Merrick played really good, you know. That was a really good bright spot. You know, it seems like the last 2 games he's picked up a lot. Like the player that I was expecting when he came out of college. Yeah, man, I think our defense was playing better in the second half. That was a good sign. It was good. You know, they played better in the second half than they did in the first half. It wasn't the greatest first half performance, but
no, absolutely,
they definitely stepped it up.
And I agree with you.
Offense was getting a little better towards the second half as well. You know, when it came to running the ball and all that. So,
all right. So for me, man,
you know, that'd be my good takeaway from it. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So for me, the good was almost the same thing as you. Man, honestly, the good was looking at JJ. He's getting more involved in the offense, and the more he gets involved, the better he is, the better off we are. And that's something that's super important, you know. Then if we look at that, then we got to say, hey, another bright spot was the adjustments made in the second half by the defense. Yeah, they scored a ton of points on us on first half. They scored, but guess what? Second half, big fat 0. So Patrick Graham, good on you, man. You definitely made some improvements on that. And honestly, another bright spot was that I saw that our team kept fighting. And I like that they had that attitude that we didn't roll over, that we just didn't give up, that we just didn't go like, hey, we're going to quit. We kept fighting all 4 quarters, so that shows me some promise, and that shows me that we got something coming on for the future. All right, so that's what I got for the good. Now, what do you got for the bad?
The bad. The bad, man, would have to be these penalties, bro. We got to clean these things up, man. I mean, I know there was a couple questionable ones where, you know, like, the what do you call that? Oh, man, help me out for some reason.
The block
crackback. Yeah, the crackback. My bad. I blanked that word out.
No, it's all right.
But yeah, crackback, you know, like that. Everybody and their mom knows that ain't a crackback block, you know, like that was just a stupid call, you know, all the way around. But on the other hand, you know, the penalties got to be cleaned up. You know, Jerry Tillery, that penalty was a really costly penalty.
Yes, it was.
You know, we can't have things like that going on in the game, man, especially in a division rival game. You know, I know it's heated. I know people are, you know, they want to get the quarterback. They want that sack. They want that interception. They're trying to do something for their team, but you got to play smart, man. You can't play dumb, you know. So that's one thing I'd have to say on the bad is clean that up. If I had anything else to say, oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I don't disagree with you there. I think when you talk about that, the bad is definitely the offensive line for me. Okay. For me, the bad was just we couldn't block anyone. We couldn't hold anyone up. We couldn't do anything. I mean, like, it's almost as bad as the penalties you were talking about. You know, we played undisciplined. Obviously, we're playing undisciplined when it's the offensive line, just letting everybody get back there and get a sack. I mean, when you give up that many sacks, your offensive line is definitely undisciplined. So that for me was the bad, is I think it was just as effective as those, or, you know, just as costly as those penalties that we had. Now, let's look at the ugly. What was the ugly in your opinion?
The ugly, man, it's got to be the play calling still, man. We just got some ugly play calling, man. And I mean, it was both sides of the ball for the first half. And then it just was one side of the ball in the second half, you know, and it continues to be that offense, man. Like, I don't know who's pulling these plays out of their butt, trying to put them on field, but man, I mean, somebody, you know, you can't blame the players for not looking at the field and this and that when you're standing on the sidelines and you can't even look at the field. You know what I mean? Like, you can't. We got to adjust that stuff somehow, you know, when we're on the goal line, on the half-yard line on a first down, man, you pound that ball, man. Even if it's predictable, you pound that ball with Jakeem, or what's his name? Jakeem Johnson. And Jacob Johnson.
Yeah, or you're talking the fullback.
I thought it was, the fullback. I don't know if that pronounced it that way.
I think it's like Jacob.
Yeah. But yeah, you know, that guy's a powerhouse, man. Let him block. Put Jacobs behind him. No. If they know it's coming, push the line, you know?
Absolutely.
Run the ball. Even if they do get back there, you still run the ball. Run the ball the first two plays.
Yeah.
You know? You got more of a chance to score that touchdown now than you do by throwing the ball on first down right there at the line.
No.
You know, and putting a rookie quarterback in that situation that was a bad call. Bad call.
No, so I agree with you. So for me, the ugly, again, goes back to coaching. I don't know if Josh McDaniels knows when to be aggressive, when not to be aggressive, when to make a certain play call without the quarterback being Tom Brady. That is the biggest question for me with him. Okay. Everything that he did was centered around one of the greatest quarterbacks that has ever played this game. Every single guy that he's coached outside of him has struggled. He hasn't been able to put it together. So for me, what I'm looking at is, Josh McDaniels, can you coach? Can you be that guy that's going to take this team to the next level, to make players believe in themselves, to make them better, to make the right call, to be like, hey, you know what? We're going to do this. This is what you do best. I just don't see it in him. And I'm just being absolutely honest, man. When you got that many stars on your offense and people ain't getting fed the rock, in my opinion, you don't know what you're doing, man. Because all those guys should be getting the ball. You know, ball distribution, the quarterback's the point guard. You got all those guys to give the ball to. But we're only giving it to one or two guys. Makes no sense to me. But all right, guys.
I agree, man.
All right, guys, that's all we got for the good, the bad, and the ugly this week. We're going to move on to game balls. All right, Matty B, who do you got for game balls this week?
Game balls, man. I'm going to have to go with Trevor Merrick in the backfield, man. Like he stepped it up the last two games, man. And
I disagree.
You know, like that's my game ball goes to that boy right there, man. That dude did awesome, amazing this weekend.
You know what? I can't disagree.
A good bright spot to look at.
I can't disagree, man. He played like a stud. He's starting to go around the ball. He's starting to be around the football quite a bit. I think he's starting to understand the game a little bit more.
I was worried about the big club on his hands, but, you know, he kind of made up for it with that interception. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir. All right, man. And for me, my game ball is actually going to go to an offensive player. It's going to go to JJ, man. I mean, like, that guy was an absolute monster for us. As a check down, I mean, what was it, 3rd and 18, and he makes a first down on a check down? He was going out. He was going ham. That dude was going ham all game long.
Oh, and when he tears it up, man, and that dude gets the touches,
absolutely,
bro, he opens everything else up, you know. And it's just that's what amazes me about that guy, man. Like,
yep,
hats off to Jacobs, man. Glad he's getting his feet underneath him.
Yes, sir. So JJ, you get a game ball. Trayvon Moore, you get a game ball. All right, guys. Yes, so now we're going to move on to the next section where we're going to talk about our defensive struggles this week. Man, bro. Defensive struggles for me are tackling and those 9 penalties we had. Honestly, if you looked at our tackling if we would have tackled a lot of those guys on those first tackles, this game wouldn't have been close, in my opinion. I mean, in my opinion, they would have not scored the amount of points that they did if we would have wrapped up with the first guy and, gang tackled. But, Matt,
not only that, but
go ahead.
How many sacks could we have had? How many sacks could we have had if we would have just wrapped up?
Oh.
We could have had 3 or 4 sacks ourselves, on top of the 2 that we had. We could have had 5 or 6 sacks on him.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm going to tell you like this, man. I really feel like our defensive lineman thought that Justin Herbert was just going to be a big old softy. But, man, that dude was standing tall, and he was standing like a freaking oak tree in the pocket. I mean, when you make Max Crosby work, bro, you're a beast, So, but I can't agree with you more, man. I mean, like, once we got to him, we had to wrap him up. We had to make plays. I mean, he scored that first touchdown. He looked like a freaking cheetah leaping out that pocket.
What if, who he reminds me of when he's under pressure?
Who's that?
Derek Carr.
You think so? He reminds me of him when he broke his leg. Before he broke his leg, I mean, like, he almost, He almost reminds me of.
I'm talking like when he gets under pressure, bro. Like when he gets under pressure, you know how Nick Bosa was talking all that stuff under Carr. You know how he folds under pressure. I think when he plays the Raiders, man, he folds under pressure a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, and there's times where it's like, take, for example, they came out and they just came out swinging, over 100 yards in the first half, and second half, man, we got to him. He folded up. He's throwing the ball away. He's throwing interceptions. He's getting, we're getting in his head. We're pounding him.
Oh yeah, the adjustments that we made in the second half definitely helped him out. Helped out. But I mean, like when we looked at the defensive struggles, man, like you said, tackling poor. That definitely extended some plays. We look at the penalties. Jared Tillery, man, that made that play into a touchdown. If he doesn't get that right there. What was it? 4th down, I think? Because I mean, like, he was short on that.
3rd or 4th, something like that. Yeah, another back ways.
So, I mean, stupid penalties killed us. I mean, the Jacoby Meyers one, where you said that it was a crackback, that wasn't a crackback. We all know. But everybody knows that wasn't a crackback. It's shoulder to shoulder.
Yeah, even if you ain't a fan of the Raiders, man, that's not a crackback, and you know it. Yeah. If you say it is and you don't know football, bro, because that's not a crackback.
And for me, the Jacoby Meyers one where he gets flagged for offensive pass interference was super questionable. Then if you're going to flag that one, you definitely got to flag the guy.
You got to flag the last one.
The last play of the game. I'm not going to blame the refs for this loss because I'm never going to say it's the refs' fault. It's just bullshit if you say it's the refs' fault. I think it's a cop-out.
I am going to say that I'm sick of the biasness, though, man. I
do think so. I think,
you're going to call a flag on. If you're going to eject one of our players for a dirty hit, you got to eject the other player from the other team for the hits they're laying on our guys. You pick up a receiver who's not even half your size and you pick him up and body slam him on his head. Yep. And you tell me that ain't intentional, and the whistle's already blown. You ain't got to pick him up and throw him on his head. That's intentional.
Oh, and there.
And same thing with the pass interference calls. You're going to call them. You're going to call us for it, but you're not going to call it on them.
Yep.
Play it fair if you're going to be fair about it. I'm not going to blame the refs either, but they do got to step their game up and quit. It's obvious. It's obvious. What's going on out there. It's not stupid. If you can obviously see it on TV, I know you can see it on the field. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
And you can't tell me that, I want to call it for this team and not that team. I didn't see it over here and this and that. But, 90% of the time when that reffing staff is on the field, we lose.
Nope.
And it's complete biasness with that team.
And I'd be like, you're right.
So that's something I got to say about the refs. Not going to blame them.
Yeah. I mean, like, there were some calls that we can say, hey, they were pretty biased. They were one-sided. They were definitely leaning more towards one team. But for me, I'm like, man, we could have literally put this game in a situation where the refs shouldn't even be involved.
And that's where we got to get to. There should be no reason why they should be looking for, so they should be pulling for, a flag, not, obvious flags. We got to clean that up, man.
Yes, sir.
Make them throw a flag where it's like, dude, and everybody can see it. Like, that ain't a flag, you know. But if you're gonna keep playing where you're playing dirty and you're getting hits and you're getting, you know, you're pulling and you're yanking and you're chop blocking and you're blocking people from behind or something like that, or on kickoffs, you know, whatever, you know, clean that stuff up first.
Yeah, no, I agree with you.
Make them throw unquestionable flags, you know. Don't give it to them.
No, you're right. So, I mean, again, tackling penalties definitely struggles. I think we need to work on those. That's all just discipline, reps, getting it down. And, I mean, our defense made great adjustments in the second half, so we can definitely make the changes, and I think we'll be able to make the changes in order for us to perform in the Packers game. So let's wrap that up, Maddie, and then we'll move on to our 3 keys to victory versus the Packers. What are your 3 keys to victory versus the Packers?
My 3 keys to victory is get after the quarterback. Got to have our defensive line step up this game, man. We got to get to the quarterback. Number 2, we got to wrap up on our tackles, man. We cannot be letting these guys bounce off of us. Number 3 is we got to throw the ball to more than one receiver. So let's get some more people involved in the game plan. Let's distribute the ball a little better this game. Let's you know, our defense has worked on this last game, you know, and let's keep them going, but let's add the offense up on this game, you know. Let's try to make this a complete circle here and not just half a circle.
No, absolutely. The 3 keys to victory for me are 1 is but we got to win the turnover battle. We got to win it. 2, our offensive line has to have an attitude about them that they're going to say, hey, we're going to run the ball. You're going to run it behind me. We're going to get yardage. You're going to freaking pass block. Nobody's going to get behind me. Nobody's going to get past me. It doesn't matter. We're going to get the job done. And number 3, I believe play calling needs to improve. Once play calling improves and everybody gets their mojo flowing, I mean, that's what we need. Right now, the offense is the foul in the engine. So, you know what? Let's switch out that spark plug. Let's fire it up, and let's see what happens. And those are my 3 keys to victory. All right, guys. So now we're going to move on to the next part of our show. And in the next part of our show, what we like to call the Raider Hookup.
The hookup?
Yes, sir. All right, Matty B. Where are we headed to tonight, baby?
Oh, let's see. What did we say we were doing tonight, my man?
We is headed down to Seattle, Washington, baby. To Tammy in Tacoma, where we can meet up with the TBH Seattle. The address is 4034 East McKinley Ave. You heard that here, guys. Go down to Tammy's in Tacoma, Washington, so you guys can go up and meet up with your Raider family with the TBH Seattle chapter. All right, guys, and that's all we got for today's show. Please make sure you guys click subscribe, download us on Spotify, on anything you guys can get your podcast at. Guys, we got nothing but love for you guys. It's me and Matty B. And again, for tonight and next week, and every day till the casket drop, it's all
yes, sir.
Raiders.